And we did promise you that we'll be having a conversation right here with Xavier Chungu. And as we head towards the 13th August and the general elections, we continue to engage leaders seeking to lead the country. Today's guest is a man who is known to many for his unique chapter. And he served as Zambia's Director General of Intelligence for a decade and was involved in the regional peace and diplomacy, and is now stepping into the democratic space to contest as a president for this country. You're welcome to Capital FM. I know it's your first time here, but feel at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I was talking to someone. There's usually a mispronunciation of your name. Some people say Xavier. Is it Xavier or Xavier?
You can do Xavier, you can do Xavier, you can do Xavier, you can
Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier sounds very pronounced.
Yeah.
So Xavier, interesting. My granddad
Xavier's
was
good.
Xavier.
Xavier's good.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, it was
very
Xavier
good.
as well.
Xavier, yes.
But yes, let's get into the conversation for today, because our listeners are right here to listen, and also just to get to understand who exactly is Xavier Chungu, because there's some people now who were born in, Esther was born in the 2000s, and might not have heard about Xavier Chungu. Just a brief explanation of who is Xavier Chungu.
My name is Xavier Chungu, as pronounced correctly. Yeah, I was born in Mansa, part of Lopula province in Zambia. I'm born from a family of 12, and we've all been quite a beautiful family. We have lost some, but I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting conversation. So in your entire career, there are so many things that we could talk about for you to reach here. But I think one of the things that the Zambian people would like to know, what are some things that you've picked up throughout your career that guide you to date? Some principles that you have picked up.
I think discipline is one critical issue. I have been a very disciplined person all my life, from childhood. And I've been somebody a lot of friends have depended upon because of my discipline. And I've also respect people. I respect the elders, I respect the small, I respect the big, and I respect everyone.
Everybody gets respect.
So those are the traits that have actually guided me into being what I am. Yes.
Let's get into what you are seeking for at this particular point, which is being president for this country. Many will say you've spent most of the years outside the country, and you've not been active in public politics. Why now, and why 2026? And what does convince you that the Zambian people will surely vote for you?
I have been in the country except for tours that I've had out of the country. And that still makes me, I'm in the country. Look, my profession all along has been intelligence. And intelligence is about people. It's about your country. It's about the concerns of your institutions and everything. So, appropriately so, I'm a politician. And I'm a best gifted person to be a politician, because with intelligence, abilities, and experience, I know what exactly what this country needs. I know what the people of this country need. I know how we can exploit our country's wealth to benefit this country and develop this country to the best, to be among the best countries in Africa.
Well, I think another question that would definitely intrigue the Zambian people is, why the presidential seat? Why jump straight to the presidential seat? I mean, you've been in intelligence for a long time. Other people would say this is a space where I'm more comfortable in. Why jump all the way to seeking the presidential position? Why not start maybe with an MP if you wanted to get into politics, or seek for a place maybe back in the intelligence force with the experience that you've gotten over the couple of years?
I have to contribute to this country. My experiences are wide, and the people have to benefit from my experiences and my exposures. And to go into parliament and be stifled, I will be of no benefit to the people. To seek a job again in government is of no use. I've grown. The age, I'm now 72. I leave the jobs for the young generation. This time, I'm fit for presidency. Yes, and I'm the best person that the country needs at the moment for this job.
You speak to how you are the best person that Zambians need for this number one top job, which is presidency. Let's speak to a few issues that the Zambian people are facing at the moment. The high cost of living. How do you expect to solve that particular issue when you become president?
I think the best thing that we have to do for the country is to change our institutions of governance. We cannot change the economy by trying to increase the salary or fight for the price of living. We have to invest in a lot of industry. For instance, the value addition in agriculture is very necessary. If you create value addition to agro products, you're going to create a lot of economy. You're going to motivate the economy. Now, to start with, for instance, if you just look at paying the debt that the country is owing to the people in the country who've been supplying goods and services, that money, if it's paid to those people, it will go into the economy and it will change this economy. If you just thought of paying the unpaid retirement packages to civil servants and public workers, that money will not be in the pockets, it will be going into the economy. So from that perspective, you'll be motivating the economy from the start, while it's to go into creating things like value addition and start to do a lot of agriculture activity. Yes.
Okay. You're still listening to Capital FM 99.7. Do note that we will open our phone lines at exactly 8:30, and you'll be able to send in your comments, questions, and contributions for our guest this morning. The number is 0773792475, 0773792475. Now, similar to the question he asked, I want you just to narrow it down a little bit. When we look at the young people making the large population of the Zambian citizens today, what is your vision for them? What is it like for them? We've had a president who's a teacher, we've had a president who's a businessman, we've had a president who's a lawyer. Now, coming in and having a president who's specialized with the intelligence force, how are you going to benefit the young Zambian, the average individual?
The beauty about having been an intelligence officer is that I understand the needs of the people. And the job is anchored on listening to the people, listening to their needs and their demands. At the moment, if we can just start to create an agro-revolution in this country and start value addition to the products that are coming from those farming blocks that we create in the country, there will be so many jobs for the young generation. They don't have to look for jobs in the government. The government has got limited slots. Empower them, create these value addition facilities and give them to run these value addition facilities. They'll pay back to the government, small payments back for the investment. And then they will be buying the feed. Then they'll produce the product, which they will sell to the state. The state must organize a system of collecting all the products produced in the country so as to help the people not to lose their products. Like we've had experiences with the system of collecting maize, for instance, from production countrywide. People have been making a lot of effort against all odds to produce maize, but the system of collection has been so bad, let alone the system of paying for the crop. Sometimes people are not paid for it. So we want to have a system where these value addition facilities given to the young generation working as companies, they are given the capital, they are empowered, and then they start paying back to the government. Whatever the residue from there, they have to capitalize there. They start building up their capacity in their companies. They start taking the charge of their companies. Government just facilitates them, gives them the facilities, and they start managing. And what remains there, they'll be declaring dividends to themselves. You should be having millionaires in this country among the young generation. And my fight and my interest is let's change this country and bring the young generation into power.
Okay. So That is the speech he has for the young people of
Yes.
Zambia, making them billionaires.
Yes, they will be.
You do speak to young people, you speak to agriculture on how you can improve agriculture. You also spoke to the high cost of living. I want us to speak to debt management. UPND managed to at least start with the restructuring of the debt. You spoke to how Zambians have not been paid. There's a lot of internal debt, but also external debt. How do you expect to deal with that when it comes to ensuring that debt is reduced when it comes to Zambia?
I think what you want to understand as my fellow Zambians, when we change this time, we have to take control of our wealth. And once we do, we take care of our copper. We sell our copper, and we shall get the money to pay the debt. All that we have to do is organize ourselves and not acquiesce ourselves to the demands of the World Bank and IMF. We have to negotiate from a strong ground. We own a lot of wealth in this country. And let's not just borrow without accounting for our copper. Where is our copper going? Where has the money been going to? Today, the price of copper is, I think, about $13,000 per ton. If we can only sell our copper at $10,000 per ton, do you know what we're going to get? It's billions of dollars. And where does that money go? My interest is that today we change and take care of our wealth. We sell our copper. That's our copper. That's our wealth. We give it to the people who've got capital at an agreed price. We should be able to have enough money to motivate our economy, to change our character, to develop our country, to industrialize our country. And inevitably, we shall have so much in reserve to start paying back the debt.
Just to follow up on mining, and I know mining is a key sector when it comes to Zambia's development. Did you speak to how we should take back and have control on our copper? We know that there are a lot of investors that do flow in, and obviously the big question there has been, if we start taking back all these mining sectors and whatever you're talking about, don't you think we're chasing away investors? And also, we know there are tax holidays that do fall in our system. Taking away all those tax holidays to ensure that we get adequate money from the mining sector, don't you think we'll chase away investors?
First, I want to say that we're not taking away any mines from anybody. We shall just renegotiate how we interact. Yes, everybody must benefit.
But that will involve the tax system, obviously. We have to deal with the tax system.
Everything, taxes and your investment into a wealth, trillions of dollars above your investment. I mean, Zambians must benefit from what they have as a commodity. And you come in with your money, you must also benefit from what you're investing in. So we just have to revisit our arrangements, our agreements. That notwithstanding, we've got a lot of low-hanging fruits. To say the least, we've got a lot of copper in this country. The Zambians can begin to produce their copper. All you need is to get, as a government, you can access resources. And there are many ways of accessing resources. We should have time to negotiate with people who've got their capital. We have got the copper. $2 trillion worth of copper in one mine. How can you sell it for $2 billion?
Okay. So you're still listening to Capital FM 99.7, and the conversation on the table here is with Mr. Xavier Chungu, who's in the studio, who is an aspiring member for the presidential seat. Now, do understand that we will open the phone lines at exactly 8:30. So those who are trying to call, please hold on. We still have a lot of conversations on the table. Do hold on. But you can send in your question as an SMS or follow us live on our Facebook live stream, which is on Capital FM 99.7. Now, getting back to the conversation, I think we've touched a little bit on the copper, and I want to just change the sector to the education sector. We now know that free education is a law in Zambia, and it's something that has got a lot of conversation, while the UPND have held it as one of their biggest achievements in their administration. Other people have come out and said it has crippled down the education system. What is your take on the free education policy?
Well, if there's a policy for free education, I would like to know what is free about education. Because everybody's paying for their children. They're buying them clothes, they're buying them pens and papers. And then they're taking the children to a classroom that is tailored for 25 students. It's now accommodating 120 students. The teacher cannot teach. He's not teaching anyone. because this is more than what he can handle per class. And so what is free about that? What education is that? You don't need to give free education. You have to make the economy affordable for the people with their income to manage their own issues.
If you're brought into power, how would you fix that particular situation there? Because you're talking about the overcrowded classrooms, which is what people have said, the teacher to pupil ratio, very bad. But other people will come out and say, at least they're getting a form of education.
There's no formal.
Education is better than
There's
no education
what's
whatsoever.
formal when you cannot learn?
How would your government and your administration tackle that issue?
You see, the first thing that you have to do, you budget for every school infrastructure you want to build. If you're building you're budgeting for a 3-classroom school in a remote area, you just don't put 3 classrooms. You budget for houses for the teachers, isn't it? And you budget for the salaries of the teachers. And you're doing that against the population in those areas. When the populations are growing, what do? It must be growing. You must increase the classrooms. So we have had a system where 1 classroom has been handling the children for many years. And that classroom was budgeted with 3 teachers, and only 1 teacher probably has had 1 house. The rest have to squat and thatch small, little houses that are not so human for the teachers. And in that sector, I see that we should begin to build new infrastructure, and each infrastructure budgeted for has attendant infrastructure for accommodation for the teachers. And when you see the classroom growing up from 25 to 30, you begin to increase to build more classrooms.
You speak to long-term plans in free education, but what will be your immediate plans? If today you're elected, you take over government and free education is a policy and it's law, what exactly are you going to do, like your first steps to ensure that it becomes better?
Definitely, we have to insist on improving what is existing. We have to change the economy so that the teacher's earning can afford him, and that the parents can afford to take their children to school. We have to decongest immediately the classrooms. We cannot afford to go at 120 for a classroom taking 25 children.
Okay.
Yes.
You are listening to Capital FM 99.7, and this is the Breakfast Show with Esther and Farai. Our guest in the studio is Xavier Chungu, who is aspiring presidential candidate. Now, the phone lines will open soon at exactly 8:30, so you can be able to call in, add your questions, comments, and contributions with regard to the conversation on the table. But you can follow us live on our Facebook page, which is Capital FM 99.7, where we are currently streaming from.
Now, we talk about accountability, and when you become a leader, obviously you expect to be accountable to the Zambian people. A lot of people ask questions that you have been an intelligence officer for a long time, and obviously you've been secretive in a few things that you have to do. How are you transitioning from that, being secretive, and now to being accountable to the Zambian people?
I'm now appearing to the people. I'm now interacting to the people, with the people. I will now be with the people. But you see, to be a politician is not just about making statements and appearing on the platform that we're a politician. It's a service. And I have to provide what I'm talking about to the people of this country. I have to provide them with security. I have to make sure that they realize their worth. I have to make sure that together, we are in charge of our country and our wealth. So I have to interact with them and give them the ideas on how to manage ourselves, how to manage our wealth, how to avoid the people that have been exploiting us. Basically, with good discipline, interactive respectability, and recognize our worth, we should be able to change our country and stand to move on.
Okay, now talking about legacy, and people have known you for various different reasons, and there are some Zambians that may be a little bit skeptical with you being there. Just marrying on to the question that he asked, how do you address the Zambians that are a little bit skeptical? Because back in the day, there was a corruption case that was involved. There was you not being in the country for a long time. How does the Zambian who is still skeptical kind of warm up to you? What is your sentiment or your statement for the Zambian who is potentially still skeptical about you running for a presidential seat?
You have to read and get to understand what has transpired in the matters that be. We can't continue talking about the same things which were known issues. we have come to know so far that those issues were not even supposed to exist. If there was strength in the governance at the time, or government at the time, we shouldn't have even talked about such things. They are non-existent. As an intelligence institution, you cannot be accused of corruption. And there been any key issue of corruption, should have been managed by the penal code. Those are matters of administration, if they ever existed at all. But to say the least, there's no corruption that an intelligence operative can commit in the course of his duty.
Okay, we are about to open our phone lines. So the person calling, please hold on. It's 2 more minutes and then we will open the phone lines and you'll be able to ask your questions right here. So the number is 0773 792 475, 0773 792 475. That is the number you can call us on, but you can also watch us live on Capital FM 99.7, which is our Facebook page. You can drop in your questions, comments, and contributions there, and we'll definitely be able to read them and see your questions.
You speak to corruption and governance and how the intelligence system is not expected to be charged for such issues. You're now stepping into an office where you might be charged for such issues. How is the government going to deal with corruption? Where this is like one big problem that obviously a lot of governments have been facing, saying on how they'll fight against corruption. How do you expect to deal with corruption?
Corruption is like any other crime in this country. You cannot just be talking about crime, corruption. We have to reorganize and understand what is corruption. Because what you see in this country is that people want to incriminate people. And they keep calling people, oh, he's corrupt, he's corrupt. That is very bad for a country. And in any case, the policing system should not be arresting one person accused of corruption. It takes two to tango, and therefore, to commit corruption, it also takes two. So we want to see a situation in a country where one is accused of corruption, we must get the corruptor also. Okay. Hitherto, we have not heard about the corruptors. So the situation itself becomes a corrupt situation. Because we have got to administer these things with due respect to the people and the integrity of the country. So our corruption is going to be handled by strictly experienced and expert investigating institutions. Cases of corruption are not for public consumption until they are proven that they were corrupt cases. I can vouch for Zambia that in this country we may not have experienced a lot of corruption, except for people who have been trying to dramatize even what doesn't exist. And nobody has been reprimanded for libel. Corruption is a case like murder, is a case like rape, is a case like all other criminal cases. They'll be managed by expert institutions.
All right. Yes. So we have officially opened the phone lines. You can call us on 0773 792 475, 0773 792 475, and we do have a caller. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM 99.7. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning.
Good morning. What is your question or contribution this morning for our guest?
Ndifa bwino mukwai.
I just want to ask one question, but I also I don't know what you have said.
Yes, sir.
My question is, why you ran away if you are not involved in those occasions? What made you to run away?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
In under 30 seconds, your last question.
Yes, it's not a question.
Okay.
I just want to encourage my brother that, let us not play around with politics. Politics is a very serious business. Look at what your friend, your brother, Xavier Chungu has done. We don't want people to come in and start disturbing him. We want him to continue
All right.
with his development agenda. I think this is my humble opinion.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We have another caller. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM 99.7. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you very much.
Okay, in under 1 minute, your comment, question, or contribution.
Yeah, you should do it. Callers have time to interact with the presidential candidate there. How can someone talk in just 30 seconds, 1 minute?
Sir, you have not mentioned your name, and this is eating into your time. You could have used this time to add your contribution.
No.
Yes, please.
My sister, this is why you brought a guest there. My name is Elvis.
Okay, Mr. Elvis, go straight to your question or contribution.
Yes, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Mr. Xavier Chungu.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. For me, on which party? Because I just saw you, I think 2 weeks ago. That's when I saw that you were standing. On which party first, if you do I ask?
Okay. Okay, no, he will answer your question as soon as the call cuts. So he's taking down, so you can go to your next question. Yes.
Okay. So, what I was saying, I think I was thinking that when you came into the political scene, first you could show your party rules in provinces and districts. You have people on the grassroots. That's when you can come and contest maybe in 2031. Because for now, I'm finishing my system. For now, I think there's need for you to be known to a lot of people. Yes, you might be one who is known in the intelligence circles, but people need to know you better. This time we are putting president who is working, President Akaide Chilema. For me, you are my Wapongoshi. If you know James Mulenga.
Okay,
All right,
thank you very
so
much.
much, Mr. Elvis, for your contribution
We
this
can
morning.
take up
We have
another
another
call.
caller.
This is my humble advice.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much, Mr. Elvis. The number is 0773-792-475. 0773-792-475 is the number you can call us on. Do remember, you can send in an SMS or WhatsApp voice note, and we'll be able to play that and read your SMSs on the show. Additionally, the time is strict. Make your conversation or your contribution short to accommodate the various callers that would like to interact with our guests this morning. So
Yes, you can tackle the two questions that are coming from the two gentlemen.
Thank you so much for the questions. I didn't get the name for the first caller. But to answer the question, why did I run away? I don't know if I can give some example. If somebody wants to shoot at you and you're not sure of what you've done, somebody just comes and say, hands up, I'm going to shoot you. And you have a chance to dive out and escape. Do you think you'll be blamed for having dived down to avoid the bullet? I think, my brother, it's correct to say that when you know that you're in danger, a bullet doesn't care, doesn't count. You'll be shot dead. And tomorrow they'll be saying, actually, it was by mistake. So what you do when you see a danger, you have to duck. Or inevitably in the circumstance, if you followed the situation that I'd gone through, and I don't want to go through those pages, I was in big danger. I was almost killed. Many times I escaped in this country, and there are records to that effect. If you know exactly what those things were about, you should understand that I even had a poisoning that ended up opening my body. So where I saw that I was in danger, I avoided. And one of the avoidings that I ran away from the country, or I took off.
Okay. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM 99.7. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Mwanda calling you from Lusaka.
Okay, Mr. Mulwanda, go ahead with your contribution this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you so much. It's a very wonderful program. What I wanted also to add is that in fact you are most welcome to the scene. It's important sometimes when you realize to say, I have something I can offer to the nation, you also come out, which is very, very important.
Thank you.
For that.
Okay.
One thing I wanted also to mention that it's like we are still trying to figure out how we can, where to take this country to. If you take most of our leaders that we normally put in offices every time, find that they are not able to realize what we want as Zambians. For example, I've actually realized the issue of free education, where the current government has actually even posting about. But if you check properly, I think for me it's not necessarily about free education, but quality education also, because it's not a matter of like hitting children in these classrooms that you also go there to say no,
Okay.
we are doing free education.
All
Because
right.
the other thing also, what you also need to understand, my son was in the boarding, for example, boarding school. During that time, like
right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
Yeah, but if you check what is happening now,
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately,
We'll have to cut you short.
due to time, but thank you so much for your contribution. We do appreciate your calls, your messages, and your contributions this morning. The number is 0773 792475, 0773 792475. Each caller is given a minute to 2 minutes. So under a minute or 2 minutes, please give us your comments or contributions.
But yes, you can also just get to tackle the other remark by Elvis.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate that the president in office has been doing a lot of effort to develop the country. And I don't even have any problems with that. I'm just expressing my rights in this country. It's time for general elections, and those who want to participate can participate.
Okay.
I'm not challenging HH, I'm challenging the institution of this country
Okay,
so that we can change.
Another caller. Good morning. Okay, we did lose that caller. The number is 0773 792475, 0773 792475 is the number you can call us on. So let's cue in this caller. Good morning. You're through to Capital FM 99.7. Your name and where you're calling us from?
this is Cloud Fuller calling from Session Western Province.
Okay, Mr. Proud, your contribution or comment this morning?
Crowd puller.
I think my comment went direct to the president, Mr. Xavier Chungu, to say sometimes we wish we want, what we wish we can do is just never meant to be. But that now, just people supporting BM80 so that we remove the monitor that we have. That's the two things that I can contribute. Then the other thing that I would like to advise the radio is, some of us, especially where Western is concerned, you can't reach us. So we need you through what is this TikTok. So for Malaysia, kindly try to be online, especially when you are. I don't know the kind of help that you give.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We'll work around ensuring that we can reach you or go live on various platforms. But we are live on Facebook, and our Facebook page, which is Capital FM 99.7, is the page you can actually access the live stream and the interview on.
Yes, the caller speaks to how maybe you should collaborate with other presidential candidates going to the election. Any thoughts on that?
It's a fact that today now we have to collaborate with each other. But the system that is at play today, it would be wrong for me to join one camp just like that. It's like putting eggs in one basket. So we want to carry this election and create and give people a choice from where they can pick which leader can perform better. We talk about Chungu, we don't know Chungu. We talk about BM8, you don't know BM8. So let's go and talk to the people and deliver our messages.
Okay, if you're going to collaborate with any political or presidential candidate in the space right now, who would you decide to collaborate with?
The choice is dependent on how the results come the first round of election.
Okay, we do have another caller. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM 99.7. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Roy. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Okay, what is your contribution this morning?
Yeah, I think one disappointment on the previous caller
Okay.
who was commenting on free education.
Okay, so unfortunately here when you call in, you give your comment and contribution as an individual. We are not commenting on the previous caller's individual or in the previous caller's comment. So you can just give your individual contribution.
Okay, we have lost that caller. You speak to how you say collaboration will be based on what happens in the first round of elections. You do believe that there will be a rerun?
You have to be humble in delivering your message to the people. And when you see the popularity, then we can begin to gauge this is the way things are going. As far as I'm concerned, the fight is that there's likely to be a stalemate. Probably no one may take 50+1, but I don't want to sing my own. I don't want to dance to my own music. The competition is very good. Yes, and let's see how we start to play with the people.
I think now that we're talking about the election period and the election atmosphere that we're in, I think the question I have for you is, what do you think of the election atmosphere at the moment? Do you feel like the atmosphere and the landscape is free and fair even for the opposition or parties, or do you feel like for the opposition it is a little bit disadvantaged for them?
I think they haven't opened when people should start campaigning. That's okay, one. But the attitude I've seen from the public and the police and the government, I think everything is fine. We can fight it. The only thing that we pray is that there shouldn't be continued harassment of people. There shouldn't be continued restrictions on the campaign timetable. We should be open. It's 90 days to campaign, and we're already in the 80s. I think the 84 days or 83 days. Otherwise, it's politics, and we're ready.
Okay. The number still is 0773 792 475. 0773 792 475 is the number you can call us, but we have a couple of questions and contributions.
Yes, we'll take some questions from our Facebook page, and one question comes out to say from Danny, and he says, what specific plans do you have for creating jobs and empowering young people and technical skills and entrepreneurship across the country? And the other question does come from Jonas, who says value addition and payment of retirement is already being done by the government. My question to you is, what new thing are you bringing to the table?
We have to be serious about what we want to do, and we're going to do very serious value addition, especially to agro products and the mining industry, mining minerals. So in those value addition facilities, we are not going to be managing them as government. We are going to bring to the youth to manage those institutions. Like I said, the youth then begins to pay back the debt to the government, and they should be able to create employment. Yes.
Okay, you are still tuned in to Capital FM 99.7, and you listen to The Breakfast Show with Esther and Farai. And the conversation here is with Mr. Xavier Chungu, who is the presidential candidate. We do have a caller. Let's cue in this caller. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM.
Good morning, Jimmy. What's the name of that show on the air?
Xavier Chungu.
I think, for me, well articulated from one Xavier Chungu. I think, for me, what I would want is we need new blood like this. And my advice, Mr. Chungu, you are well elaborated.
Thank you, sir.
Being encouraged to join these other jobs who were there in 10 years. What is it that they have failed to do this time around? They want to come back. Always remain a crocodile. Then my last point of contention. I think, as for me, the issue of leadership is not even there. There's no question about it. There's no leader. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Forget about it. You see a as a chamber. And these are the first on the ground. In this market, they are just known to suck and copper field.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chungu, I think what you can do is just work hard. You can win. That's something.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Jimmy. And to anyone else who's listening and would like to call us, the number still is 0773 792 475, 0773 792 475. We have another caller, and then you can answer the questions for the callers. Good morning, you're through to Capital FM. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, I am back.
Okay.
You are speaking to 95% of the people who are transport based in Kapam.
Okay, Kapam.
From here.
Your comment and contribution.
Xavier Chungu, Murishani Kanawe.
Kanawe Zandi Fabwino, thank you. That hotel.
And then if you can depend on free education, it's about Xavier Chungu, Mwasanga, Lusakayachija, Namwaka, province. The country infrastructure, yonse, PF, there is one of my private bridge, I'm a airport, I'm a conference, none, yonse, nothing. And then everybody under free education. How come there is no free education in this country? Because institutions, the learning of Zambia, learning one attack players in Yama Zambia. So we move to Ipunga, Ulea, Uluto, Trayan Uluto. Ishi, Nisi, Nepiti, what Yama friend, the Yama 24 Kola, Mulan, Wakulan, Genki, Jukulate, and there is no money in secretion. In Japanese Barrage, but it was plus one. About 2 and another Ghana.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kapambwe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. We do have another caller and we'll be taking up that particular call. Good morning, you through to Capital FM. Your name and where you're calling us from? Yes, good morning. Go through to your contribution for the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, my brother.
Okay, Noel, contribution for today. Okay. Okay.
Socialism.
Socialism or capitalism. Okay, thank you very much, Noel. Okay, so those are contributions from the callers, and we do have another caller. Good morning, you through to Capital FM. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Thank you. Good morning. This is Mahmoud from Lusaka.
Okay, your contribution to the show today.
Thank you so much. I know time is less.
Yes.
Just a quick one. Thank you. Mr. Xavier, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
There was a question that was asked why you are joining this race, and you said you're not fighting HH but the institution. But I know that when you join such kind of a serious matter as elections at that level, there must be some alternatives you're bringing to the table. Would you point out specifically that areas that you feel this government hasn't done very well, that you feel we need to do better?
Okay.
And what is that you are going to do? Thank you.
All right, thank you for your contribution. And the caller does talk about pointing out the areas you feel the UPND has not delivered in and what you would do better.
Yeah, let me start from Jimmy. Thank you very much for the support. And I just want to assure you that definitely once we start our campaign trials, we are definitely going to hit the ground with the mission to win, and we're winning. Please be there to support us. Mr. Kapambwe, thank you so much for your support, and just be sure that things are going to change and change for the better for the people of this country. But no, capitalism, socialism, what this is about is allowing the people to have access to resources, and every Zambian must be allowed to become a millionaire or have money and do their business without hindrance. So therefore, we're talking about having a country that has respect for the people, the social, and respect also for having capital. So we have to be very social capital country rather than anything else. The alternative, I don't know if there's an alternative at the moment, but what we want to do, sir, is that I would love to secure the people of this country. I would love to make the people of this country free and begin to hold on and look after their wealth. We have abundant wealth in this country. And if we can just begin to love each other, protect each other, work together, we should be able to manage our wealth without being exploited by other people. This is about political, and the decision has to be made. Who owns what and how many Zambians are we? We have to take account of ourselves and begin to share our wealth equally.
Okay, so
Yes, we'll take a question from Dominic Banda, and this is from our Facebook platform. And his question is, he says, since you've been former intelligence DG, on your analysis of performance of the UPND for the last 5 years, what would you say they have done better?
I would like not to comment about the performance of the current government because that's their legacy. I would like to talk about what we're going to do tomorrow. If they have done, just to say little, if there's so much has been done good, then we gauge them at the day of elections in August 13.
Okay, we do have another message, and this is from Mapalo. And Mapalo says, this is Mapalo within Lusaka. I really support this man with everything that he says is to upgrade our nation, our lives, which is not a bad thing. I like his thinking because he wants us to work together as a nation, which I will rally behind him. And he says, in fact, give me your number for your campaign. And this is a sentiment from Mapalo within Lusaka. But you can also call us on 0773 792 475, 0773 792 475. Nelson sends in a question saying, what party is sponsoring you? And this is Nelson from Lusaka.
Excellent. I think the two questions I will try and answer first by answering the first question, then I'll answer the two questions in one shot. Our political party is called the Liberal Democrats Party, it says for itself, the Liberal, the Democrats, that's our party. So we're very free and open to everyone, be them from UPND, from PF, from UNIP. We want everyone to participate and accept that we are coming in to change this country. The second thing is that I'm glad that you are going to work with us, and we are definitely going to share the numbers. The LDP party has got the numbers that we'll be distributing very soon as we start campaigning. The other one is Dominic. What did he say?
Oh, Dominic, I think you did tackle that. You were talking about the UPND and their performance.
Yes.
And
in all the two questions, my answer also, I want to add the fact that, you see, my drive is to change the status of the young generation. We can't continue singing about no jobs, no jobs, no jobs, no jobs. And we're looking at the young generations graduating from the universities every year. No, we have to empower them. We have to make the youth, young generations, the driver of this country. It's time. It's time. And that's why we want to open the doors. I'm going into the elections to open the doors for the young generation. And then once we get it, we create these value addition facilities to begin with. And we look after the Zambians who are providing goods and services. We create activity in the country. If we pay the Zambians who have not been paid, there will be some jobs created, some jobs. But we have to go deliberately into creating the value addition facilities, both in the mineral area and agro production.
All right.
Yes, and then we start building on, and we start industrializing our country.
Okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
is Xavier Chungu on The Breakfast Show with Esther and Farai on Capital FM 99.7. You can call us in the dying minutes of the show. The number is 0773792475. Please note, if you're calling this dying minutes, I will have to cut you short. So make sure your contribution is quick, short, and yes, you can get calling.
yes, as we get to close, obviously we're getting to 10 minutes of the show. I want us to speak to freedom of expression. A lot of people have come out to say, obviously, your security background speaks for yourself, and obviously, how would you balance then national security with civil liberties and also democratic freedoms? And we know already there's a bill that went out for freedom of for freedom and all that. How will you get to balance?
The freedom of expression in a country like ours must be absolute. If you want to manage the security of your country, you must leave the people to express themselves. If you don't allow them to talk, you'll never know what they're holding at heart, and that's where you have explosions. So you must release the people. The people must be free to interact. The people must be free to express themselves. The people must be free to do what they want to do. But what you only have to do is to make sure that that freedom is not injurious to individuals. That person who is expressing himself must not be irritating the other people. It is not the freedom that we have to control that freedom only on account that it doesn't infringe on our cultures. It doesn't infringe on our religion. You know, we must respect our religious beliefs. We must respect our traditional and cultural beliefs. We must respect our individual rights also, that what you do is not going to injure me, you know. But the freedoms must be freedoms, absolute freedoms, only with certain little limitations. It's not the government to control the rights.
Okay, as we are closing off the show, what is your last message? The person listening out there who is listening to you and they're still a little bit skeptical, what's your last message to the voter, to the listener, to the Zambian who wants to be sold to vote for you come 2026 August general elections?
First, I want to make sure that we account for our country, our Zambians. We do account for ourselves. We know who we are, and we take responsibility of what we have. The second thing is I want to ensure that the young generation prepare themselves for governance of this country. I want our traditional leaderships to be respected and given back the power to them that belong to them. You know, and I want to, we work together, we industrialize this country. It's not a joke that I'm saying that we can industrialize this country. We should pay interest in energy. We should look at how much energy we have and what else can we do to increase on the energy so that we manage our country, we develop our economy. I am of the view that we've been negligent on the exploitation of our coal, abundance of our coal in the country. And I think that sooner than later, we're looking at using the nuclear system, so that nuclear energy, so that everybody must have power. We must have power. We shouldn't have, it's not the nature that we're looking at. There are technologies that have developed. There's coal. So we cannot cry, yes, nature we understand. And that's why we cannot depend on hydro alone. We have to bring in solar, but then we have to exploit our abundant coal displacement in this country. And then we have to think about our nuclear energy. It's a clean energy today. It might be expensive at some point, but if we have to develop this country, we have to get it. And so my drive is for the youth, is for young generations, for this country. I want to secure Zambia. I want us together to secure ourselves as a people, respect ourselves, unite, be friends, be together. And I want us together to secure our wealth. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chungu, thank you very much for coming through to Capital FM and gracing us with your presence. And obviously, thank you to all the listeners and all the callers that did call today. This has been the Capital Breakfast Show, and we did have a conversation with Xavier Chungu, who is running for president. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Capital FM 99.7.